Ever feel like, when like your favorite app is just dragging, like it's stuck in molasses or something?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
maybe you're just like baffled by how much your cloud storage costs every month?
I know what you mean.
We'll get ready to dive into a topic that's all about making the digital world work smarter. Workload optimization.
And you'd be surprised how much this impacts everyone, not just like the techies out there.
Okay, so let's unpack this workload optimization. What is that really beyond the buzzwords?
Okay, so imagine this. Instead of like a gas-guzzling car that's always running, you have one that's like perfectly sized for your needs, uses fuel only when it's moving, and gets regular tune-ups, to keep it running at peak performance.
Right.
That's what we're aiming for with cloud resources. We want to make sure that they are the right size, that they're running only when they're actually needed, and that they're constantly being optimized.
So it's like digital decluttering, but like on a massive scale, like no more digital hoarding.
Exactly.
But how does this actually play out in the real world? Does it really make that much of a difference?
Yeah. Oh, a huge difference. Think about those like frustratingly slow apps we were just talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's because they're chugging along on these oversized servers, like somebody trying to run a marathon on a treadmill that's meant for like leisurely walks.
Ouch. I can feel the digital burn already.
Right.
So why optimizing companies can avoid those slowdowns?
Exactly. And here's the thing. It's not just about speed, it's about cost savings too.
Okay.
Companies can significantly reduce their expenses, which can then translate into fairer pricing for you and me.
Music to my ears.
Mhm.
And you mentioned something about the environment earlier. Don't leave me hanging.
Right. So all those inefficient servers guzzling energy that contributes to a pretty hefty carbon footprint.
Right.
But imagine if companies optimized their workloads so they were only using the resources they actually needed.
Yeah.
They'd be shrinking their environmental impact too.
So it's like the superhero of the digital age. Saving money, saving the planet.
I like it.
But what does this digital waste actually look like in reality?
Yeah.
Give us a concrete example.
Okay, so picture this. You buy a giant hard drive, one of those terabyte behemoths that could hold like the entire Library of Congress,
Yeah.
but you only ever use a tiny fraction of it.
All right.
That's what's happening in the cloud all the time. We call them stranded storage volumes. Wasted money.
And I'm guessing companies aren't exactly bragging about this kind of waste, right?
Not really, but the FinOps Foundation, they're all about tackling this head on.
Okay.
They found that achieving data efficiency for at least 50% of stored data is a common goal for a lot of companies.
Okay, so that number tells me there's a lot of room for improvement here.
For sure.
But before we dive into solutions, I got to know, how do we even begin to measure this kind of digital waste?
And that's where FinOps teams really shine.
Okay.
They use these tools and metrics to track things like how much the servers are actually being used, data storage patterns, even how often certain applications are actually being used.
Right.
It's like having a digital detective on the case.
They're like the Sherlock Holmes of wasted gigabytes.
Precisely. They're analyzing the clues, they're identifying the bottlenecks, and then they come up with a plan to actually optimize those workloads.
This is already blowing my mind, and we haven't even gotten to the strategies yet.
Right.
But you said FinOps teams are vital to this whole optimization thing.
Yeah.
It's not just about the tech itself, right?
You hit the nail on the head. It's about aligning people and processes too.
Okay.
Think about it. You've got your engineers who are building the tech, you've got your finance folks who are managing the budgets, and you've got your product teams who are laser focused on user experience.
Yeah.
To truly optimize, you need all those players on the same page working together.
So it's like a giant puzzle where all the pieces have to fit perfectly for this to work.
Exactly. And oftentimes that's where those stranded storage volumes come from. A development team might spin up a bunch of servers for a project, and then when the project's over, they just forget to shut them down.
Out of sight, out of mind, but definitely not out of the budget.
Yeah.
So how do we actually unlock the value of optimization? Give us the strategies. Give us the secret sauce. Okay, so we've got our digital detectives, the FinOps teams, figuring out where the waste is.
Right.
Now let's talk about how they actually tackle it. Give us the optimization playbook.
Okay, so it really boils down to 4 key strategies: waste reduction, workload management, right-sizing, and modernization.
Okay.
Think of them as the 4 pillars of a super efficient digital world.
All right, let's break those down pillar by pillar.
Okay.
Starting with waste reduction. What's the game plan there?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Getting rid of anything that's not serving a purpose.
Okay.
Unused files, idle servers, duplicate data. It's like hitting unsubscribe on all those spam emails you never open,
Great.
but on like a much grander scale.
Digital decluttering for the win. But it sounds like you need a keen eye to spot some of this waste.
Yeah.
Are there tools that help with that?
Absolutely. Cloud providers actually offer tools that can scan for idle resources and highlight potential savings.
Hmm,
Imagine a program that tells you, like, hey, this server hasn't been touched in months, wanna ditch it.
right.
That's the kind of power we're talking about.
That's amazing. So no more digital pack rats.
Right?
What about workload management? How do we get those workloads in shape?
This is where things get really clever.
Okay.
Imagine scheduling your cloud resources to like clock out when they're not needed.
Okay.
Like batch processing overnight, scaling down resources during off-peak hours. It's like having your computer automatically go into sleep mode when you're not using it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Saving energy and money while we sleep. I like the sound of that.
exactly.
Now on to right sizing. You
Okay.
used a great pizza analogy earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's about choosing the right-sized cloud resources for your needs. So instead of paying for this massive server that's mostly just sitting idle, why not opt for like a smaller, more cost-effective option? It's like ordering a personal pizza instead of a large bolt when you're eating solo,
Right.
you know?
Makes perfect sense. But how do companies actually figure out the right size for their needs? It's not like they have a digital tape measure or anything.
Well, they kind of do. Cloud providers have these tools that analyze your resource utilization patterns,
Ah.
and then they recommend optimal configurations.
Oh,
It's like having a virtual tailor for your cloud infrastructure,
okay. I'm starting to think that these cloud providers are like digital superheroes themselves.
right?
What about modernization?
Okay.
That one sounds pretty self-explanatory, but I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, you're right. It's more than just using the shiniest new tech toys.
Okay.
It's about embracing technologies that inherently promote efficiency.
Okay.
So one example of this is serverless computing.
Ooh, serverless. That sounds intriguing. And maybe a little bit like magic.
It is pretty magical when it comes to optimization.
Okay.
So with serverless, you don't pay for idle servers at all.
Wow.
The cloud provider dynamically allocates resources as needed.
Okay.
So you only pay for what you actually use.
That's a game changer. Talk about efficient.
Right.
Are there other modernization techniques that like blow your mind?
Oh, definitely. Containerization is another big one.
No,
It's like packing your application and all of its dependencies into these neat little portable containers.
Okay.
This makes it so much easier to deploy and manage applications, which ultimately makes your cloud infrastructure more agile and cost-effective.
So by modernizing their approach, companies can become like lean, mean optimization machines.
Exactly.
But let's face it, technology can be complicated.
Yeah.
How do teams ensure they're making the right optimization choices? It's not like they have a crystal ball or something.
Well, a crystal ball would be handy, but what they actually rely on is data, and lots of it.
Okay.
Remember those FinOps teams, our digital detectives? They play a crucial role in guiding these decisions.
So they're like data whisperers, helping companies make sense of it all.
Exactly. They use their expertise to analyze that data, they model different scenarios, and ultimately, they help companies make informed decisions about which optimization strategies are going to deliver the biggest impact.
This is all starting to sound like a well-choreographed dance between like technology and data and human expertise.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And like any good dance, it requires clear communication and collaboration.
For sure.
Remember how we were talking about earlier, getting the engineers and the finance and the product teams all on the same page?
Yeah.
Well, that is absolutely essential for successful optimization.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we use it and how we work together to like maximize its potential.
Yeah,
It's about a holistic mindset shift.
you nailed it. And that shift, my friend, that's where things get really exciting. Because when we start thinking about optimization, not just as this like technical challenge, but as this like fundamental way of approaching how we work live and interact with technology, that's when the real magic happens.
I'm with you on that. But what does that actually look like in practice? How can we as individuals start embracing this optimization mindset in our own daily lives? This is reminding me of that saying like, work smarter, not harder, but like applied to the digital world.
Exactly. And it's not just about companies and their cloud setups.
Okay.
We can all benefit from applying this optimization mindset to our own lives, too.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give us some real-world examples. How can we, like as individuals, optimize our own digital workloads?
Think about how you use your devices and your apps.
Okay.
Are you guilty of having like a million tabs open at once, slowing down your entire system?
Busted. I am a chronic tab hoarder, so what's a better approach?
Just like those stranded storage volumes we were talking about earlier. All those open tabs, they're consuming resources in the background.
Right.
Try using a tab manager or bookmarking pages for later to kind of keep things streamlined.
It's like digital Marie Kondoing.
Yeah.
Decluttering those tabs definitely sparks joy, or at least like fewer system crashes.
Precisely. And just like we were talking about like scheduling tasks in the cloud,
Right.
think about scheduling your own digital activities.
Okay.
Designate specific times for checking emails, scrolling social media, or tackling focused work.
So instead of constantly switching between tasks, we're creating those dedicated cloud resource blocks in our own day.
You got it. And don't forget about right-sizing your own digital footprint.
Okay.
Do you really need to be subscribed to all those streaming services that you barely even use?
Mm-hmm.
Or how about that cloud storage plan? Are you using all the terabytes that you're paying for?
Ouch, you're hitting a little close to home. It might be time to do some digital downsizing.
It all comes back to being mindful and intentional about our technology use. It's about making choices that align with our values, our goals, and yes, even our budgets.
This has been a real eye-opener for me. We started with optimizing workloads in the cloud, and now we're talking about like optimizing our own digital lives. It's like this whole new perspective on efficiency has opened up.
And the best part is it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There's always going to be something, to tweak something, to improve some new way to make our digital interactions smoother, smarter, and more sustainable.
So whether it's decluttering our inboxes, right-sizing our subscriptions, or just being more mindful of our digital habits, we all have the power to become optimization masters.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe those skills will even like spill over into other areas of our lives.
Yeah.
Suddenly we're optimizing our commutes, our grocery shopping, our entire routines.
The possibilities are endless. Well, on that inspiring note, it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah.
But before we go, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you continue your day today.
Oh.
Pay attention to those moments of digital friction. When your phone lags, when an app crashes, when you feel overwhelmed by like the sheer volume of information coming at you, those are all signs that optimization is needed.
That's right.
And remember, optimization isn't just about making things faster or cheaper.
Yeah.
It's about creating a more sustainable, enjoyable, and empowering digital experience for ourselves and everyone around us.
So go forth and optimize.
Until next time, keep asking those questions, keep challenging the status quo, and keep diving deep.